Thank you for staying with Benchmark. As we mentioned in our top story today, the LMD Nielsen Business Confidence Index shed 11 points in September. Granted, we've had to deal with the uncertainties brought about by the Greece Yaka phenomenon, not to mention increasing global fears of yet another economic downturn. Anushan Selvaraja tries to predict where biz confidence will head in the next coming months.
Welcome to the Voice of Business. Joining me on the show this week is the Managing Director of the Nielsen Company, Shaheen Kader. Now, Shaheen, we continue to wait for that very old high or record to be broken, rather, despite the end of the war and far better economic fundamentals, not to mention the flow of much improved results being announced by corporates. Why is this?
The business confidence index is increasing, but gradually rather than sharply. So regarding the slow movement of the BCI, in spite of much improved results by corporates, as you mentioned, we need to ask ourselves what type of companies are investing and in which areas. So at the moment, most private sector investment is predominantly in tourism and in the agriculture and perhaps in the fisheries sectors. And to add to this, you can see that the banks are having a lot of cash for which they are unable to find borrowers. In fact, the advances to deposits ratio for the banks were far higher 4 to 5 years ago than in the last 2 years, which indicates that they were able to lend as a percentage of deposits, lend far more earlier than today. This is despite the onset of peace and economic growth. So, therefore we seem to be in a situation where the majority of businesses in Sri Lanka are in trading or in providing services, and they are in a cash-rich consolidation stage rather than in an investment mode. So the business confidence index, I guess, would really rise up sharply when more and more businesses start investing in either expansion of current businesses or in new projects. So we need to get to that point where it will take off. So at the moment it's going up gradually, but I believe it will take off after a while.
Now, you say in this month's LMD that companies may be adopting a wait-and-see approach with many servicing existing customers with the same products and services rather than investing in new products and services. Now, can you elaborate on this line of thought, Shaheen?
With the GDP growth being high, consumers' disposable income should increase steadily, and with increasing expectations that consumers have, they would want to spend more on new products and services. Therefore, while many businesses are probably in a wait-and-see mode right now, eventually they would have to invest more if they are to remain competitive and sort of serve these demanding consumer expectations which would come in the future.
What are your predictions for the BCI and where it will head before and after the upcoming budget, Shaheen?
This is a difficult question to give a direct answer. It depends on the extent to which the budget would encourage consumption and investment. We also need to keep in mind the slowdown in developed economies, which can impact our apparel and industrial exports. The Arab Spring has also impacted exports to many of our traditional tea buying markets, and overall there could be a concern on the widening trade deficits. So while the economy is growing, I guess it seems a consumption-friendly budget is possible. But the global downturn impact on our economy also needs to be considered by the Treasury officials in the budget proposals. And therefore the BCI movement due to the budget, I feel, cannot be predicted right now till we have a clearer picture on which way the world and the country is going towards.
Now, your firm also compiles and tracks consumer confidence. What trends are emerging in this sphere lately?
We see consumer spending on FMCG and household durables increasing substantially in the last 7 to 8 months as the country starts recovering from the floods that we had towards the end of last year. These floods hugely impacted the agriculture and service sectors. So correspondingly, with the increase in consumer spending, with people having more money, consumer confidence has also picked up in the first half of this year. But to end on a cautious note, let's hope that the current drought in farming areas does not start reversing this trend. If rains do come quickly, I would expect consumer confidence to increase further, albeit gradually.
That was Shaheen Kader in conversation with Benchmark's Anushan Selvaraja. We hope you enjoyed Benchmark today. Do join us again next week at the same time.